Welcome to Mediocre Gaming, and today we're playing Helldivers 2. Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I'm Zarel. Let's get to it. So today we're saving the citizens and talking about updates. But before we get to that, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, smash that subscribe button, and ring that bell to be notified of all future episodes as soon as they go live. So let's get into it. So we are on an automaton planet trying to save the priority citizens. So not just any citizens of Super Earth, but priority citizens, whatever that means. Now let's talk about the update. One of the most recent updates, specifically as it pertains to patrols. Now previously, patrols scaled with the number of players, and they still do, but a little bit differently. The developers have said that solo missions, so players playing solo in a mission, they would have 1/6 the number of patrols that a 4-player mission would have, which is not correct. Now, whether it was encountered or just the total number of patrols, I assume it's the total number of patrols. So you would assume that it would be 1/4 instead of 1/6. So they changed it. Now, in order to change it, or the way they decided to change it, they quadrupled the number of patrols for solo players. Now, that means that all of a sudden now you have 2/3 or 67% of the number of patrols that a 4-player session would have, which is not correct either. It should be 25%. So the math behind it is a little confusing. And let's go over it for 1 through 4 players and just go through it real quickly. So it should be 1 player or solo player is 25% of a 4-player session. 2 should be 50, and then 3 should be 75%. That makes sense. Now, if they only touched single-player sessions, then that means that you actually have more utility having more players in a session, even at 2 players versus a solo player, because a solo player would have 67% of the number of patrols that a 4-player session would have. 2-player session would have half. So already you have fewer patrols, and then 3-player would be 75%. But with the addition of extra players, you also have extra firepower, extra stratagems, etc. So currently, it makes a whole lot of sense to play sessions with at least 2 people, assuming that they did not change 2 or 3-player sessions. Now, let's assume that they did, and it scales with this solo change that they did. So a solo session would have 67% of the number of patrols that a 4-player session would have. 2-player session would have 4/3 or 133% of a 4-player session. 3 players would have double the number of patrols. And then 4-player would have half the number of patrols that a 3-player session would have. Or, the standard amount. So they haven't explicitly said whether they changed 2 or 3-player sessions, so I will assume that they've only changed solo, the solo experience. Hopefully they adjust that in the future. Now, solo players, it makes a lot of sense for them to avoid patrols when possible, unless they're going to burn a stratagem in order to take out a patrol. They're not going to be able to have the firepower to take out a patrol before they call in for reinforcements. So, yes, they are either going to burn a stratagem, or the more likely scenario is they're going to avoid a patrol. So if they're only looking at the metrics of how many patrols a solo player comes into contact with, then yes, absolutely you're going to go for fewer patrols as a solo player, because there's no reason to go dealing with every single patrol. You're going to try and be at least a little bit stealthy while you're playing. Alright, now that that's out of the way, isn't it interesting how some of the drones will tank a quasar cannon, and so you have to hit them twice versus some of them, you hit them one shot and it's done. So if you've ever had inconsistent damage with the quasar cannon, you're not alone, and they have changed it. Factory Strider, take him out. And they have changed the way that the quasar cannon works. It cools down faster than it used to, but the damage isn't what it used to be either. Alright, I like how some people will come into your session, they'll play for a while, use up your reinforcements, and then leave for whatever reason. Like, you've already done the damage, buddy. Why not just ride it out? If you're intentionally using up reinforcements, then you deserve to get kicked. Like, I understand there's real life reasons that you can leave a session, but just do your best, and that's all anyone can ask. Alright, so we're here at the spot where we need to save the citizens. And I'm sure there's some guys here calling resupplies. Oh, here we go. There's a Hulk right there. Nobody's noticed me yet. Got one shot on him. But one shot's not enough, even in the back. Hopefully that'll take him out. Oh, and there's more guys. It's funny how they can kind of blend in. Oh, there we go. Got a railgun strike on him. That took him down. Probably would have taken him down in one shot anyway. Okay, I like how that heavy or the rocket devastator just tanked that quasar cannon blast. Alright, toss a grenade. Hopefully that hits him. Boom! Yeah, that was nice. Nice grenade throw. Alright, so one of the other things that the developers have mentioned that maybe they've been doing game balancing with weapons and stratagems incorrectly. Before, they thought that people were using one gun more exclusively than other guns, and they felt that that was a sign that the gun was overpowered. And I don't think that is the case. I think if people are using one particular weapon, it probably is a sign that that is a fun weapon to use, or fun stratagem. So if people are having fun and then you nerf it into oblivion, then it is just sucking the fun out of the game. And I think the developers are coming to that realization, which is good, because they need to realize that they don't want to suck all the fun out of the game. They still want the game to be enjoyable for the players, and I still want the game to be enjoyable for all involved. So hopefully they take that into consideration in future updates. Because of the way that the updates work, you know, the next update or even the next two updates, they may not reflect that. There is a lag time between when they're working on updates and, you know, if they're changing directions, how the lead time for that. All right, I don't know if it's because our forces are split up, that we're having fewer incursions with the enemy here, but I'm okay with that. Alright, we're getting a little bit low on time, which is a bit of a problem. But luckily, this is the last major objective. Last step of the major objective, the prime directive, whatever you want to call it, for this mission. So once we get this done, then we can start heading out. Whoop. Well, speak of the devil, the bots are here. Let me see if I can get a good spot on the sentry. I should have put it down when it came off of cooldown, but I kind of thought that we'd be able to finish it without having anyone show up. Silly Helldiver. The enemy's always lurking, ready to pounce. Alright, with all the Helldivers here, we made relatively short work of that patrol without reinforcements. So that's good. Alright, so this should be the last set of citizens. Oop. Yep, there is one moving there. Yeah, I don't think I hit him. Or if I did, I hit his shield. There we go. But we made quick work of him. Let's go ahead and get out. Oh, there's enemies coming from the other side, too. Now, Devastators are, I realize, kind of in a tough spot because they're in the middle. They're not supposed to be the tough enemies, but they're not supposed to be the weak enemies. So regular Devastators, not terrible, not great. They do have heavy armor, so you do have to specify where you hit them. So you hit them in the weak point so that you can take them down. Or hit them with something that does a lot of damage to take them out. You know, a rocket or what have you. However, heavy Devastators and rocket Devastators are ridiculous for being the middle ground. Rocket Devastators spam you with rockets even after they've changed their behavior. They do a couple of lasers and then rockets. And then a couple of lasers, then rockets. By the time you recover from one rocket barrage, they're already doing another one. And then heavy Devastators, between there's two Hulks there. That's kind of crazy. We should probably leave them alone, but I think they're wanting to take them out.
Requesting orbital strike.
So let's put a little damage on them. Railgun strike probably took out the other one. So should be good. Oop, and there's a patrol. So because the heavy Devastator has a shield and a machine gun, it makes them very difficult to deal with, to do damage to. Yeah, that was a good toss. That was a good toss. Little fun fact for you: if you mark the enemies or fabricate or whatever you're trying to hit with a stratagem, you mark it first before you throw it. It'll have the distance, and then you can gauge your angle based on that. So that's 60 meters. If I hit it right, it should take it out. Now, I do about half the time use the armor that gives you extra distance and limb health. So that does mess up with my throws, not to mention the bounce. The bounce really screws up my throws. I want to say about 25% of the time. Alright, one guy is taken out. We are out of reinforcements, so we have to wait for the cooldown. And we've got enemies at our doorstep. Oop, and a factory strider at that. Yeah, that's not good. Eagle, I think it might be a little bit short. We're going to go ahead and hit the... There, we got him. Hit the weak point. If you hit the joint, the knee joint, twice with a Quasar, you'll take him out if you hit the same one. I don't know what's going on with the aiming there. It's a little buggy. Oh, there we go. And because it's a factory strider, it's spitting out a bunch of devastators, which only highlights the fact that they are so ridiculous for being the middle ground for enemy units. I think. Alright, 10 more seconds. We can call one person back in and 30 seconds to get out. So we're almost there. There's still a bunch of enemies, but I think if we play our cards right, we'll be able to get out. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to check us out on social media, and thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. And we'll see you next time.
ETA T-minus 10 seconds.
Going down a support weapon. Sending in an eagle.
This is Pelican 1. I have visual on the extraction zone. Pelican 1, landing in progress.
Stop it!
Countdown initiated. Stand by for takeoff. Extraction complete. Pelican 1 beginning ascent.